Welcome to JDB's Morning Cap here. Today is Thursday, April 30th, 2026, as we're just one day away from the first day of the month of May. Whew. 4 months is going by fast, huh? Sure it has. 4 months into this. Yeah, it's going really, really fast. Oh man, we cannot ask for a better start of this to end the month of April. So we have a handful of segments to get into, all in the NBA. So we're going to start what happened yesterday in Game 5. All 3 games have gone down to the wire, by the way. Last night, let's start off with the Magic and the Pistons. Pistons trying to stay alive to keep the number 1 seed. Actually, to try to keep their postseason magical run intact. Well, Cade Cunningham with a solid 45-point performance. He made 5 3-pointers, also 14 for 14 at the line. Tobias Harris was huge as well. He scored 23 points in Game 5, 8 rebounds, 2 steals, and the Pistons earned a Game 5 victory, 116-109 over the Magic. However, Orlando still leads the series 3-2. Let's see if Detroit can use a critical road Game 6 win on Friday night back in Orlando. All right, so the Pistons win in Game 5 at home. Pistons have now won 2 consecutive playoff home games. They had lost their previous 11 home games dating back to 2008 playoffs. Now the Pistons have won 2 straight. It doesn't come in a critical time. How the Pistons beat the Magic to keep their season alive. I thought there's some good things in Game 5. They shot 49% from the field. They only had 28 3-point attempts. They made 10 of them, which is 36%. So free throws, they went 8. Pistons shot 80% from the line, 28 for 35, which is pretty good. And they out-rebound the Magic 49-33. So that was always a good sign. And it was a wire-to-wire win, by the way. Pistons have never trailed the entire 48 minutes. The largest lead was 17 points for Detroit, but they ended up winning by 7 points. So you think how Detroit stay alive to force Game 6? Like I said, they used Cade Cunningham with 45 points. But turnovers is still a killer for Detroit for the entire series. Cade Cunningham had 6 turnovers. He still struggled with his ball security in this series. So I think there's a lot of things he can clean up as we're headed to Game 6. Detroit needs to win a road game to make sure we have a Game 7 on Sunday. Game 6 will be on Friday in Orlando. Meanwhile, for the Magic, even though they lost, they're still in position to win this series. We'll talk all that stuff in a minute. Paolo Banchero had 45 points. 6 made threes, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. He also had 6 turnovers. Desmond Bane, 18 points, 6 for 15 for the field, 4 for 10 from deep. Franz Wagner was out in Game 5. He got hurt in Game 4. He suffered calf injury in Game 4. He never made it to the court last night. So how the Magic lost to the Pistons in Game 5 failed to close out on the road. They commit 16 turnovers they had a chance to advance to the Eastern Conference semifinals. They could not do it. They did shoot 48% from the field, 45% from downtown. But the biggest problem was the 16 turnovers and they missed 14 free throws out of the 30 attempts. 16 for 30 at the line, which is 53%. And the Magic only benefited 8 offensive rebounds. So the Pistons had done a good job preventing offensive rebounds. The Magic has dominated on the boards in this series. So they've done a great job putting it all together. But with that loss, they're still in position to win this series back at home on Friday. Jamal Mosley, by the way, who would have thought he could be on the hot seat, and instead you had a 3-2 series lead and possible extension. Even you don't win this series, I think Jamal Mosley's job would be safe if they lose in 7 games. If they blew a 3-1 series lead, I believe Jamal Mosley's job may be safe because you won 3 games in this series. If you advanced the first round and you don't advance the second round, then Jamal Mosley will keep his job, of course. So it's about consistency and leveling. That's going to be critical for Orlando. Because last time Orlando blew a 3-1 lead, it was against these Pistons 2003. Doc Rivers was a head coach at the time for the Atlanta Magic. So Magic has got to finish off if they want to clinch it at home. Jamal Mosley has been great at home in the playoffs. Next one, we'll stick with the Eastern Conference first round. The Raptors scored off the Cavaliers. It was a seesaw first half. Raptors' offense was outstanding in the first half. They scored 64 points in the first half. I'm incorrect. They scored 70 points. They scored 74 points in the first half. Raptors scored 74 first half points. It was 74 to 67 Raptors at halftime. But the Cavaliers defense shut the Raptors offense down. The Raptors with a poor 3-point shooting in the second half. Cavaliers outscored the Raptors in the second half. $58. It was 58 to 46. Cavaliers, your second half outscored. But the Cavaliers with a 125 to 120 win to regain the series lead 3-2. The big story for the Cavs was Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley had been up and down in this series. He's missed free throws. James Harden continues to, Donovan Mitchell, he didn't have his best scoring night that night, but contributions, Evan Mobley, Dennis Schroeder came up huge in that game. So James Harden did have 23 points as well, but the turnover bug continues for James Harden in this series. So James Harden needs to do something here to make it all happen. So the Cavaliers, I think this series will go to the distance. I think this series will go to the distance. If Raptors can win Friday night at home, then Game 7 will be back in Cleveland. Game 6 is in Toronto tomorrow, with Cleveland ahead 3-2. So this is a pretty good series so far. The last 2 games have gone down to the wire. So hopefully the next, at least one more game, they can go down to the wire. So, and this is what happened when your team goes around. You put yourself in a really, really good position. All right, we're gonna take a break. Come next. Can Rockets make history? What happened last night in Los Angeles in Game 5? Also coming up, we have Game 6 starts tonight. Series in Minneapolis, Philadelphia, and Atlanta. So which one of the 3 teams who has a series lead will likely close out? Which one of the 3 teams will have a chance to force a Game 7 on Saturday? So we will step away in 3 minutes. All right, welcome back to JDB's Morning Cap. Last night, the Rockets squared off the Lakers in Los Angeles. Lakers had another shot to close out a game after they got blown out in Game 4 back in Houston last Sunday. But last night, Lakers were up as many as 11 points, but the Rockets took control most of the game before the Lakers made a huge run. But 2 Reed Shepherd clutch shots was enough for the Rockets' 99-93 win to dip down the series 3-2 in favor of the Lakers. Lakers still in favor of the series 3-2. So the Rockets, with a win, they're back. The series heads back to Houston on Friday night. As Rockets looking to become the 5th team in NBA history to force a Game 7 after the team has trailed 3-0. The most recent team who trailed 3-0 series lead and ended up forcing a Game 7, the 2023 Boston Celtics. That was the last time the team who forced a Game 7 after trailing 3-0 series lead. Celtics did it in 2023 Eastern Conference Finals, ended up losing to the Heat in 7 games. So far, Rockets becomes the 16th team in NBA history to force a Game 6 after being down 3-0. Most recent team was the Boston Celtics as well. So should they be confident for Houston, or should they be concerned for Los Angeles Lakers? Let's start with the Houston Rockets. Confidence. Jabari Smith led the way with 22 points. Shane Green had 14. We've seen some big moments like this. If it wasn't for that Game 3 gaffe, they would have been up. Rockets would have been up 3. They could have been up 3-2. They would have won 3 straight games in a row. They could have been up 3-2 if it wasn't for that Game 3 heartbreaker for the Rockets. And now, if Rockets still manage to lose this series, the Game 3 was a big missed opportunity to win that game. I think Houston, I'm still confident that Houston Rockets are still going to make history as far as coming back from 3-0 down. Keep that in mind. The NBA series is 0-160 when the team came back from 3-0 trailing series. came back from trailing 3-0. No NBA team out of the 160 playoff series in NBA history has come back from 3-0. That's a best of 7 era. Not the best of 5, not the best of 3. It's the best of 7 era. NHL has done it several times. Major League Baseball has done slim at times. The Red Sox did it in 2004, American League Championship Series. Red Sox came back from 3-0 down. Will the Houston Rockets, are the Houston Rockets the Boston Red Sox of the NBA? I believe so. Houston Rockets are the Boston Red Sox of the NBA. Because the Red Sox came back from 3-0 down in the ALCS against the New York Yankees in 2004 when Terry Francona was managing with the Red Sox, and they end up sweeping the Cardinals in the 2004 World Series. David Ortiz was clutch. Dave Roberts, the current ex-Red Sox star, currently the Dodgers manager, Dave Roberts had a huge stolen base in the pivotal elimination game. Now the Rockets, Ime Udoka right now is 7-2 in playoff elimination games. That's an incredible number. You do not want to face this Rockets team when that coach had a higher elimination game winning percentage record as anybody in the NBA. Somebody has to know about the Houston Rockets. Trust me, you think about the Houston Rockets right now? I'm just saying, you talk about Kevin Durant being out. He's not going to play in Game 6. But they started to figure it out the last couple of games. The first 3 games, there were some tough challenges. In the last 2 games, they started to figure it out who they are. Last year in the playoffs, Kevin Durant was still in Phoenix, and the Rockets were down 3-1. They were in this position before. They came back. They almost won this series. You know what's ironic, though, for Ime Udoka? The 2 elimination losses were against these Warriors. One in the 2022 NBA Finals, and then last year, Western Conference first round. Ime is 7-0 in elimination games other than the Warriors. Ime is 0-2 against the Warriors in elimination games, but 7-0 with others. That's shocking. That is absolutely shocking. It is shocking right now. Because of that, you put yourself in a really, really tough spot, and you can be in a fine position to get into the playoffs. But that's that. That's over with. That is absolutely over with. Because of that, the Houston Rockets can put themselves in a great position right now. Let's move on to this. The Los Angeles Lakers come up short to clinch the Western Conference first round. They're now 0-2 in clinching games. They had a chance to close out back on the road on Friday night. They only lost by 6 this time, which is okay. I'm okay with that 6-point loss. And you didn't get blown out at home. You came back, but the Lakers. The reason why the Lakers lost is not just It's not just poor execution as far as 3-point shooting. They went 7 for 27 from downtown, which is 26%. They shot 42% overall from the field. They commit 15 turnovers. The biggest issue right now in this series has been turnovers, despite they survive all of these games. But the last 2 games, they had some this team has suspected with turnovers. The Lakers have issues with turnovers all season long. Marcus Smart led the team last night with 6 turnovers. So should they be concerned after they're up 3-0 and they dropped their last 2? Should they be concerned? Yeah, they should be. I'm concerned about the Lakers, to me. The Rockets been more physical than the Lakers in this series. But you still have the lead because of an early series success. But their last 3 games, they haven't taken care of the basketball all series long. We've just been talking about it. If you could be in danger of losing a 3-0 lead in the first round. And now you go have your chance right now. LeBron James is your leader. You don't have Luka Doncic. You did bring Austin Reeves back. That was huge. But the Lakers' offense still staggering. They're staggering. They can't knock down 3-point shots. They turn the basketball over. They cannot do that. This is a problem right now for the Los Angeles Lakers. They just need to get better to put it all. This is my problem. You can't. The Lakers have to get through all these processes if that's going to be the case. But you don't want to do that stuff right now. So Lakers should be concerned right now. They're on danger to lose a 3-0 series lead. They need to stop doing that. Okay, so let's see how it happens here for Los Angeles Lakers. They can do that here. All right, what's coming up on JDB's Morning Cap? We will talk about Game 6. It starts tonight. We have Celtics at 76ers. We have Knicks at the Hawks. We have the Nuggets at the Timberwolves. Boston, New York, and Minnesota has a 3-2 series advantages. So which one of these 3 teams will have a chance to close out tonight? We will step away in about 3 minutes. All right, welcome back here tonight. We have Game 6. Starts tonight. First off, let's start with the 76ers hosting the Celtics with a 3-2 series advantage. So, let's start with Philadelphia first. How Philadelphia 76ers can keep their season alive like they did this past Tuesday. They need to get off to a good start. The first 5 games that the Celtics have won their first quarter battle in each of the first 5 games of the playoffs. And the Celtics have won 3 of the 5 games when they lead after 1. So now, can Philadelphia 76ers get off to a good start? They need Joel Embiid to step up. They need Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. They need anyone to perform at a high level if they want to force a Game 7 back in Boston on Saturday night. I mean, this is a groan of confidence. This is a groan of confidence. This is all the things that it's going to happen. They can put themselves in a better position. And who do you like to do this in this one here? Meanwhile, for the Boston Celtics, they come off a tough Game 5 loss at home this past Tuesday. They'll try again tonight on the road. They're actually comfortable on the road than at home in the playoffs. No surprise. They shot well on the road. I mean, tonight, I think this is going to be different. It's going to be a different story. I think the Celtics will come up on top. and knock down some shots after Celtics scored 11 points in the fourth quarter 2 days ago. So they'll try to improve that in Game 6. So let's see if Boston can figure things out and try to move on to the Eastern Conference semifinals. So we'll see how that goes here tonight as it develops. So we'll see how it plays out. This one here. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown has to perform well tonight, and Derek White he's got to be the most important player in Game 6. He's having a rough series offensively. So we'll see how he responds tonight. I think Celtics will have a chance to close out to win Game 6 here tonight. So if the Celtics win, they will host the second round of the playoffs on Monday. So that's that. Next one, we got the Knicks and the Hawks, Game 6 of the Eastern Conference first round. Knicks with a 3-2 series lead. If the Hawks win tonight, they'll face the winner of their choice. They could host the semifinals. They need Philadelphia to win twice. They need Philadelphia to win twice. And they need Knicks one of the two wins. They can win in Game 6 or they can win in Game 7 back at home. So it depends. Jalen Brunson had a monster 39-point performance in Game 5 in New York. Now Game 6 is back in Atlanta. Atlanta's season, we'll get to that in a moment, but the Hawks are in better position to take this series. All 3 wins have been a blowout fashion. The 2 losses decided by combined 2 points. Both of them were 1-point games. So OG Anunoby and Karl Anthony Towns, these guys are going to be critical, the critical X factors to clinch the first round. The last 2 first-round postseasons for the Knicks, they ended in 6 games. They beat the Sixers in 6 games. They beat the Pistons in 6 games. Will Knicks join the Hawks in the elite for 6 games? So far, Knicks won in 6 games against the Celtics in the semifinals last year. So, Knicks in Game 6 since 2024 playoffs. The Knicks are 3-1 in Game 6. The only loss was against the Pacers in the last year's Eastern Conference Finals. So, if you want to make 4-1 in Game 6 games since 2024 playoffs, they got to show it here. Correction. I got it wrong. They're 3-2 in Game 6. Both of those losses were against the Pacers. Last year's Eastern Conference Finals and 2024 semifinals when Knicks had a 3-2 series lead. So I got the record incorrect. The Knicks are 3-2 in Game 6 games since 2024 playoffs. So we'll see how that plays out right here in this one here. Meanwhile, for the Hawks season is hanging in the balance after they were up the series 2 games to 1. They lost their last 2, and now the Hawks season is hanging in the balance. CJ McCollum had a rough Game 5. So how the Hawks could force a Game 7 with a win here tonight They need to get Dyson Daniels going. He's having a really, really tough series. So they need Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson, and Okongwu. They all need to step up if they want to force a Game 7 back in New York on Saturday night. How they can do that? They need to shoot the three ball better. They need to take better care of basketball against a pretty good Knicks defense. I mean, it's not the worst case scenario. Who do you think it is? Because of that, then you put yourself in a really, really good spot right now. Who do you like to win Game 6 tonight, Knicks or the Hawks? I'm confident that the Hawks will force a Game 7. I think their season's not over yet. So if Hawks win, then two teams will have to settle for a win or go home situation on Saturday. Potential if the Hawks can somehow win that home in Game 6. So hopefully that's the case. And finally, Game 6 of the Western Conference first round. Denver Nuggets travels to play the Minnesota Timberwolves with their season of the Nuggets are backs against the wall. They come off a huge Game 5 victory at home, but the Wolves still have the series lead 3-2. So the question is how the Nuggets can close out how the Nuggets can take Game 6 on the road and force a Game 7 back in Denver on Saturday. We know the Spurs already move on to the second round. We already know that. Nikola Jokic has to perform well on the road. So far, in these two playoff road games, he has not shot the ball well on the road in this playoffs. They got to figure it out. But the good news is you do not have Anthony Edwards or Dante DiVincenzo. DiVincenzo is a good defensive guard. Anthony Edwards, he plays great defensively, he scores, but these two aren't playing. DiVincenzo's out for the rest of the playoffs. Edwards is out multiple weeks. If the Wolves win, they could get Edwards back by the middle of the semifinals against the Spurs, if the Wolves do indeed advance. So, if the Nuggets do get eliminated from the first round, then that could work Edwards and DiVincenzo's favor, because you're going to get more time to get back into full basketball activities in this coming fall. I'm talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves, how the Wolves can close out Game 6. They need the Wolves to take better care of basketball. Last time they had like 26, 25 turnovers in Game 5 on the road. And now you're back home. You're confident you could be home again in this one round. Because of this is a land of opportunity. This is a land of opportunity if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves. Game 6 in front of your home fans, this is absolutely critical. Because of that, then you don't have any problems with that. You can win it. So, tonight, who do you think who's going to come up top in Game 6? Denver or Minnesota? Minnesota's 2-0 at home in this playoffs. This is crucial. I'm afraid I have to go Denver Nuggets winning Game 6. I think Denver wins Game 6 on the road. And how they can do that, they need to get off to a good start on the road. Because of that, if they don't do that, then their season could be over. So they're still in jeopardy. They got to win it here. Otherwise, they blow their championship chances. So I got Denver winning tonight on the road to force back a Game 7 in Denver on Saturday. All right, let's close this. Let's close this thing out on JDB's morning cap. What's coming up tomorrow? We're gonna talk. We're gonna recap Game 6 from today. Tomorrow, recap Game 6 from tonight's game in Denver, in Minnesota, Philly, and Atlanta. Game 6, I'll preview. The games are live in Houston, Toronto, and Orlando. So, which one of those games will force a game? Which one of those teams will most likely force a Game 7? I mean, this may be shocking the most. I would love to see all three, but we'll see it. And then tomorrow is May 1st. So I'm going to do MLB first month report cards. We're almost first into the first quarter of the season. So I'm going to go actually, I'm not going to report cards. Let's talk about who are the biggest surprise disappointments, potential MVP for each league through the first month of the season between March and April. Today is the last day of April in Major League Baseball before May approaches. So May is a big month. May is a big month. Because of that, you will see all of that in any day in any life in this 1 year. Whew. It should be real right now. It should be real. No doubt about it. All right, man, that's it. We'll be back at it tomorrow, same time. We'll break it all down tomorrow. We'll preview the Game 6 for those who played Game 5 last Wednesday. And then I'll do MLB first month awards. So we will talk about all this in this 1 year. All right, that's it, man. This is JDB's Morning Cap. Enjoy your day. We'll be back at it tomorrow.